The refinery is expected to generate over 100,000 indirect employment, retail outlets, and lead to the construction of 26,116 filling stations and 129 depots in the country. Welcome on Nabo TV Live. My name is Chidi Peters. If it's the first time of joining us, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and of course, comment. I've taken you on why Nigerians await Dangote Refinery. At a time that Nigerians are convinced beyond reasonable doubt that the President, Muhammadu Buhari federal government, will perform no miracle, nor would it keep all the promises it made to solve the litany of challenges in the country's petroleum sector, not to be more palatable than the news of coming into mainstream of Dangote Refinery. Efforts by the federal government to make self-sufficient in refining of crude oil to serve the scarce foreign exchange used in importation of petroleum products have refused a boost, as the 650,000 barrel per day Dangote Refinery, the world's largest single train refinery, is set for inauguration on May 22, 2023 by Mr. President himself in Ijebu, Lekki, Lagos. That also brings to bear why Nigerian, after 20 years, is there to bring the federal government refineries into full capacity. Most recently, not even quarter the capacity has any of the refineries worked, forcing the NNPC Managing Director Abakari to assure Nigerians that by September, the refineries are going to work. Now that the Dangote refinery is coming on board, your gaze is as good as mine. The inauguration of Dangote massive facility is not only pleasant news for Nigeria, because its output is expected to be more than enough to meet the country's fuel demand, as well as turn Africa's largest crude producer into an exporter of refined crude. It will also make the country self-sufficient in local refining of crude oil, thereby saving scarce foreign exchange that is used for importation and of course the so-called subsidy, which we have not seen the positive resultant effects. To be ready for commissioning, man and machine over the past 6 years or thereabout put in over 60,000 hours of work at the site since construction work on the capacity commenced in 2016, as over 126 heavy-duty trucks daily ran a massive land area of 2,636 hectares, which is about 4 times the size of Victoria Island. This is aside from the 750 heavy-duty equipment that was stationed in what constitutes one of the biggest construction sites in any part of the world in recent time. The initial estimate of the project was put at between 12 billion and 14 billion. But after years of delay and shift in the inauguration timetable, the cost of the African biggest oil refinery and the world's biggest single train facility cost now grew to 17 billion. Ahead of inauguration, Dangote Group, in a fact sheet obtained, gave detail of the facility as well as whetted the appetite of stakeholders, as it gives very tiny but very important detail about the facility. Apart from being the world's largest single train 650 barrel per day petrol refinery with a 900 KTPA polypropylene plant, this 435 megawatts power plant in the refinery alone can meet the total power requirement of Ibadan Disco of 860 megawatts covering 5 states including Oyo, Osun, Ogun, Kwara, and Ekiti, plus, as the case may be. The fact sheet further affirmed that the refinery can meet 100% of the country's requirement of all refined products: gasoline, 56 million liters per day; diesel, 34 million liters per day; kerosene, 10 million liters per day; and aviation jets, A1, 2 million liters per day, and also has a surplus of each of these products for export. Other details available by document include the fact that it's designed for 100% Nigerian crude, with the feasibility to process other crude, self-sufficient marine facility with the ability for fleet optimization, and is the largest single order of 5 SPMs anywhere in the world. The refinery design complies with World Bank, US EPA, European emission norms, and the Department of Petroleum Resources DPR emission norms, even as diesel and gasoline products from the refinery will conform to Euro V specification. Based on the state-of-the-art technology employed in its construction, the facility is designed to produce a large variety of food, including many of the African crude, some of the Middle East crude, and the US light tight oil. To get the massive facility to fruition, a whopping 65 million cubic metrics of sand were dredged at the cost of approximately 3 million pounds, using the world's largest, second largest, and 10th largest dredger to elevate the height by 1.5 meter to ensure against any potential impact of increase in named sea level due to global warming. Part of the assignment was executed by some of the over 1,209 units of equipment brought to enhance the local capacity for site work, since even the biggest local civil contractors were unable to handle even small portion of the construction equipment. In addition to this, Dangote Group brought 332 cranes to build up equipment installation capacity, since the current capacity in the country is extremely poor. And it also built the world granite quarry to supply Koza's aggregates, stone columns material, stone base, stone dust, and material for breakwaters. Of course, about 10 million tons per day production capacity. With 177 tanks of 4.7 billion liter capacity, a total tank loading of 2,900, based on tank capacity of 33 KL. The company also developed a port and construction of quays with a load bearing capacity of 25 tons meter to bring in over dimensional cargo ODCs close to the site directly. Additionally, it also constructed 2 more quays in the port with the capacity to handle up to Permanax vessel to export fertilizers and petrochemical, and 2 quays to handle liquid cargoes. Interestingly, Dangote is one of the few companies in the world that has executed a petrol refinery and a petrochemical complex directly as an engineering, procurement, and construction EPC contractor. Summarily, benefit will alleviate the company's petroleum challenges despite the logistic nightmare posed by its construction. The refinery is designed for 100% Nigerian crude, with the flexibility to process other apart from the meeting and surpassing the country's gasoline needs, would also create a market of 55 billion per annum for Nigerian crude, even as it possesses strategically located marine infrastructure for crude receipt and product trade. The refinery is expected to generate over 100,000 indirect employment, retail outlets, and lead to the construction of 26,116 filling stations and 129 depots in the country. It is also expected to lead to the revival of 11,000 filling stations shut down due to product shortage. In danger case of availability of the product, facilitate the opening up of service stations and create additional jobs for 2,600 truck drivers involved in product transportation. Even before fully coming on stream, the refinery and petrochemical complex reasonably changed the country's economic landscape, with at least 120 companies providing goods and services valued at 146 billion on site. Expected to operate at full capacity from day one, product from the refinery will go a long way in solving the problem of debt fuel, and most Nigerian motorists are constrained to purchase, which over time compromised the vehicle. Federal government reportedly acquired 20% equity stake in Dangote Refinery. The Federal Government Executive Council 2 months later approved the sum of 2.76 billion for equity stake acquisition in the refinery. The refinery will create a lot of jobs when look at the entire value chain from the upstream to the downstream. We are talking about almost 1 million jobs. The refinery will also be producing propylene and polyethylene, which are essential components in manufacturing of plastic. The refinery production of critical products like neta and propylene will stimulate the development of other industries such as cosmetics, plastic, and textile. Refining on this scale will save Nigeria up to $10 billion in foreign exchange and generate approximately $10 billion from exports. Of the country's dependency and reliance on foreign exchange markets, the multi-billion-dollar facility presents major prospects for impact substitution and supply chain localization like added value in agro. Of course, with all this and the major stride by Alhaji Dangote, Nigeria is at the verge of eliminating the issue of fuel subsidy and fuel scarcity. Don't fail to like, share, subscribe, comment. This is Mabo TV Live.